When Boris Johnson took over the post of Prime Minister before what felt like an eternity, which according to the calendar actually only lasted a year, he had two goals. He would lead the British out of the EU and make the kingdom the greatest place on earth. So the chief optimist of the nation promised, as usual, modestly. The cause of Brexit has been implemented by the Conservative head of government on January 31st. Great Britain officially left the international community. While Brussels and London are currently bitterly arguing for a free trade agreement 5 months before the end of the transition period, Johnson has no reputation for being bogged down in details and yet unpleasant. Rather, the 56-year-old likes to stylize himself as a doer and heater. Critics, on the other hand, describe him more as a troublemaker and clown who does not take the truth so exactly. With Alexander Boris de Pfeffel Johnson, opinions split. Even today, even if he actually intended to unite the deeply divided society. With his second big project, keyword best country in the world, it looks a little more difficult right now. With almost 46,000 coronavirus tested deaths, the kingdom is one of the most severely affected by the pandemic in the world. The battered economy is sluggish in the lockdown. Observers are partly responsible for Johnson's sad interim balance sheet, who at the beginning of the crisis was still demonstratively shaking hands in hospitals, sending out confusing messages, and hesitating too long with a lockdown according to scientific opinion. Johnson even got caught, he ended up in intensive care. But while critics denounce the government's actions and point to the dilapidated health system, poorly prepared for the pandemic due to the Tories' years of austerity, Johnson has managed to distance himself from the austerity of the past decade, says Anand Menon, political professor at King's College and director of the think tank UK in a Changing Europe. He made it look like a completely new government. However, according to the political scientists, Corona makes it almost impossible to assess the Prime Minister's political performance. He is still enjoying a closed period, but still had a pretty decent first year, thanks mainly to Brexit. UK in a Changing Europe is a great and informative institution, by the way. You should have a look at their website too. I put a link to them right in the description of this video. According to the latest Opinion Institute survey, 44% of the British are currently behind the Conservatives. The Tories are now 8 percentage points ahead of the opposition Labour Party. Johnson's honeymoon should only come to an end in autumn, Menon said. Then, as the unemployment rate rises as forecasts indicate, when tough and unpopular political decisions are expected to strengthen the stumbling economy, when the utilities expire. The consequences of COVID and Brexit have not yet been felt by many people, says Menon. That will change in the coming months. On July 24, 2019, Theresa May and Boris Johnson made the change at the top of the kingdom after several crises and voting dramas in Parliament. Johnson's lifelong dream had come true. For moving into 10 Downing Street, he even styled his blonde hair, his trademark, a little less tangled, and slimmed down. At the political level, it seemed unthinkable that the situation on the island could become even more chaotic. But Johnson did the impossible. It was going to be an insane autumn. Not only did Johnson widen the cabinet by filling the top jobs with his most loyal Eurosceptics, the quarrels in Parliament continued, the demonstration in front of the Westminster Palace became permanent, the rebellions of the deputies escalated. On top of that, Johnson suspended Parliament, which in turn called on the Supreme Court, the country's highest court, to declare MPs' forced leave illegal. It was a political blow to Johnson, on the one hand. On the other hand, the unprecedented judgment in British history demonstrated that Johnson is not above law, but above things. Because all of this did not detract from his popularity. In the early elections in December, Johnson gave his party a majority, which Tory legend Margaret Thatcher only achieved at the zenith of her success. The Tories needed political showmaster Boris Johnson to take such a landslide victory. Nevertheless, he would never have won without Brexit. And the Brexit vote, as all observers agree, would never have happened without the top cheerleader of the EU skeptical hardliners. So the circle closed. At the time, it was already clear in the Westminster bubble that leaving the European Union would define Boris Johnson's term of office. But a year is an eternity in British politics, not just felt. And if you now want to know more about European politics from a German point of view, YouTube has chosen another of my videos right here in the end screen for you, right next to your chance to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so yet. If you do, please don't forget to click the bell so you always be notified when a new video is coming up. I'll see you in my next video. Click and enjoy. Viel Spaß!